Holy crap. Thanks, Farm Don. I have no idea why the mic got unplugged, but it was unplugged. So no one heard any of that. So you just got to watch my mouth move for a couple of minutes as we were doing this. So I guess I'll start over. Good morning, Bubba Da Vinci. Social medias, I just posted a minute ago. Rayquaza Raid Day. We are, gosh, I can't believe I have to repeat all this. I'm actually going to keep this as a short stream today because I don't want to be distracted doing the Rayquaza raids. Rayquaza is a Pokemon in Pokemon Go. I know this channel is supposed to be talking about topics and all this other stuff, but one of the topics will be Pokemon Go because it is a significant part of my life and business. And so I still don't have a perfect Rayquaza. I do not have a really good shiny Rayquaza. And I'm still trying to hit level 50. All three of those things could be achieved today. And so there is a lot of focus going down to my phone right now every time I get it. I was blessed and I started receiving some of the raids from my friends in Australia this morning. So thank you for my friends in Australia. I started receiving raids in the last couple of hours from my friends in Europe, primarily Race Chick, who is in Switzerland. God bless her. She is the Rayquaza queen. This woman is so passionate about it. If there are Rayquazas anywhere within 3 countries, she will probably drive to them just to catch them. That's how passionate she is about Rayquaza, especially a shiny Rayquaza, which is badass. It's black. It's this. But anyway, kind of an important day in the Pokemon Go world for those of us who still have not caught a good Rayquaza or are just looking for really good XP. I'll constantly be doing the ups and downs. So again, thank you for letting me know about the sound. I think what was happening was I was readjusting all the cables. Now that I've got 90% of my setup done, the thing that drives me the most crazy about any computer setup is cable maintenance. I hate walking into someone's office or someone's game room and there's 500 cables just dangling everywhere looking like spaghetti. Although that is the easiest way to get everything tested. You don't want to start running through tubes and everything else when you're first setting up. But once your setup is mostly done, spend half an hour and do your cable maintenance. It's going to save you headaches. It looks nicer. Maybe I'm just a type A personality, but it drives me crazy. So I unplugged everything yesterday and started running all my cables through the tube that I mounted onto the desk to kind of keep everything looking nice and everything else. And apparently I missed a very important cable, which is the mic cable. So thank you. This would have been a very interesting show. It would have been like pantomime. I would have had to send out a message saying, if you're a lip reader, please join the show. But that won't have to happen now. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to pour my first cup of coffee. First cup of Joe. I got to look that up. I'm one of those people that I like useless pieces of information. And where did a cup of Joe come from? Right? I mean, there's always a story behind some of these things. And, Joe must have been significant at some point. All right, let's get our cup of coffee poured. What I'm drinking today, is the Rise Mushroom Coffee. And I've been drinking the matcha quite a bit because I think the flavor is good. Yesterday, I came up with a pretty good flavor combo, which was the Rise Mushroom Coffee and a combination of roasted or almond milk and coconut milk, both with roasted nuts, no sugar added, organic. And what I said yesterday, which I thought was interesting, was it kind of tasted like popcorn. It tasted like that one kernel that you get that was a little overcooked and it has a little bit of a not a burnt taste, but a kind of a burnt taste, right? And that's exactly what this tasted like. The aroma is a lot better. And I apologize. I keep looking down because I'm fumbling with the raid as I go. And so, yeah, it was pretty good yesterday. I actually enjoyed drinking the cup. And when I say enjoyed, take that with a tablespoon of sugar. It's I don't have to choke it down. This is definitely not daddy's coffee, right? I mean, I love my coffee. I am a big coffee drinker. After the conversation with Trainer Club, Billy Lutz the other day, though, I'm now going to have to evaluate my coffee drinking because I did not realize that so many of the coffees are treated with pesticides and all these other things. And so now I'm going to evaluate my coffee. But yeah, guilty pleasures. I mean, if all things being equal, if I need a little pesticide on my coffee in order to get a good quality coffee, I'll do it. But not for a couple more weeks. I'm going to stay with the rise for 30 days. Burnt popcorn. That's not bad. I can handle burnt popcorn. So let's jump into a couple of things because so the raids today are broken up into time frames per time zone where you live. And so they're 3 times. So there's these little breaks in between. I think we're on a break because I haven't had another raid since I just finished this last one. So I might actually get through a lot of this stream before I get my next raid. But we'll see. And we should be coming up on, so it's 7 a.m. here. So it's 8 a.m. in the East Coast. So in 2 more hours, the East Coast will get their first batch. And I'm in the Midwest. So I have friends on the East Coast that'll get me now. I'm capped at, I think, 20 or 25 today for having them sent to me. I don't know how close I am, but that's another thing. You don't care. All right. First is, let's get into the medal count today. So yesterday, before I hit the button, yesterday, I was super pumped up. The day before, America was down at 5th place. And I was like, hey, look, America, there is no, there's no participation awards in this. Actually, there is. That's called the silver and the bronze. But first place is the only thing that we really care about. China's been in first place since day one. And we need to move it up. So yesterday I got up in the morning and I'm going through my medal counts and I was super pumped up. United States had moved into number 2 slot. It was like they heard me, like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, all right, moved into number 2, solid number, not that far behind China at number 1. We can make it up before this is over. We can get into the number 1 slot. All right, well, let's talk about where they are now. So as of this morning, China is still in first place with 13 gold medals. France has moved into second place, knocking the United States down with 11 medals. Australia came all the way up from 6th to get 11 medals, 11 gold. So whatever was happening yesterday, Australia, you rocked. And we know Australians rock. We love our Australians. Great Britain, it moved up to 4th with 10 gold medals. United States apparently didn't get a single gold medal yesterday. We dropped down to 5th place with 9. Korea has moved to 6 with 8. Japan's dropped down to 7th with 8. Italy has not moved. Italy has been in 8th place, I think, the entire time with 5. Netherlands had popped up yesterday for the first time at 9 with 5, and it is still there. And Canada is holding on with the just barely holding on there. 3 gold medals, holding out 10th place. The only thing that's keeping them in 10th place, because there are 4 other countries that have 3 gold medals there, is their total medal count. And so for all my ties, just how this broke out, and I think I got it from the Olympic Committee. Might do the same thing. Whatever the formula, I'm not going to lie, I didn't create this formula. The formula is available online, and you take that formula and you paste it in your Excel spreadsheet, and then you can kind of go in there and select how you want it to go and figure things out. And then and it just kind of posts for you. So, and I do that so it's easy to grab and put in my little bar up here. But yeah, that's kind of how this is set up. So let's kind of go over the total medal count. Now, I for those of you who haven't watched before, what I basically do is I go tell you what all China's medals are. China is not in first place for total number of medals. America has been in first place for total number of medals from the very beginning. But we on this show only take into consideration the gold. And so that's the reason why this bar is where it is now. So let's go across it. China, as of today, has 31 medals, 13, 9, and 9. France is at 37 with 11, 13, 13. They are in second place in total number of medals. Australia's at 22, 11, 6, and 5. Great Britain is at 29, 10, 10, 9. United States is in first place with 9, with a total of 44, 9, 18, 17. So at least we have the highest number of silver medals out there. So we really like that second place finish. We're all about the participation award here in America now. Korea is at 17 with 8, 5, and 5. 8, 5, and 4. Japan is at 18, 8, 4, and 6. Italy is at 17 with 5, 8, and 4. Netherlands is at 12, 5, 4, 3. That's good. And Canada is also at 12, which is 3, 3, 6. So, hey, continue to do a good job, Olympians. America, got to get back in there. Put those Olympic gymnasts back in where they need to be, because apparently they get the job done. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. So let's talk briefly about some world news of the day. I really don't have any. More talk about the prisoners being freed. There is a big hurricane watch, a big tropical wave off the United States right now that has some huge potential impact. The only reason I mention this is, my good buddy, good friend, someone we really, sometimes I'm very concerned about, is Farmed On. I feel like he's been in kind of the same situation as I have this year, which is both of our areas. And also he's a fellow Texan. I know I talk about me being from Iowa, and I'm originally from Texas. My daughter's still in Texas. And hopefully in the next couple of years, I'll be moving back to my house in Texas. But anyway, Farmed On lives down in Texas by the Gulf Coast. And that area has been hit horribly hard by tornadoes, hurricanes, storms, flooding. And, he's had personal damage to his personal property. And, my heart goes out to everybody in that area. Now, when you live on the Gulf Coast, or you live where I live, and, where we have major snowstorms and power outages on a regular basis because of blizzards, ice storms, tornadoes, straight winds the other day. I mean, we had 80-mile-an-hour straight winds coming down from Canada. And it sounds like a freight train, and it did more damage to my place. But anyway, when you decide to live in those areas, you take the responsibility and you understand that this stuff's going to happen. It still doesn't mean when you go and you look on the news and you see potential of a massive hurricane or tornado warnings, or flooding or blizzards in New York, where people are going to be power outages and going to not have food and water, have access to things, that your heart doesn't go out to them. If you live in an area that you don't have natural disasters, it's hard to fathom. No matter how much you prepare. I live a pretty prepared life. But even with that prepared life, I was nowhere near prepared for the storms that we got this year. I showed pictures yesterday, or maybe the day before, of giant the power generating windmills, these things that are massive that you can see from miles away, knocked down like broken like straws from the last tornado that came through here. And it came close enough. The last two came close enough to me to knock over buildings, destroy fences, take part of my roof off. Right now, my house is half off its foundation, and my whole back porch has been ripped off. My front porch is almost completely gone. Yesterday, I finally had the inspectors come in, and I got the price tag for jacking up the house, re-putting it down to on the foundation and leveling it. And I'm just like, tear down the house. It's so expensive to go and do this stuff. I'm almost better off staying in this one right now, just clearing a piece of property right down here, and then just putting up a new house, because it's almost that bad. It's never going to be where it should. Problem is, the house was built in the 1800s. It's a nice house. You hate to get rid of it. Anyway, you don't want to hear that. But the thing is, storms. I feel bad, and we're in the summer, right? We aren't even in the stormy season. We still have, when we get to fall and they really pick up, and then we get back into winter, it's always worse. So it's just been a bad year for this stuff. So see that in the world reports that there's another hurricane getting ready to come out there and hit my friends out in that area. Yeah, I don't know. Additionally, I don't understand exactly, why we keep worrying about this, but there's confirmations that there's another new virus. I guess it's a variant of the West Nile virus coming around, and and then there's at least 10 cases of dengue fever that's hitting around. I probably should have saved the article. I believe that's spread by mosquitoes. Dengue fever sounds, whatever. I know that when I lived in Texas before I moved up to Iowa, the mosquitoes can be bad there. But Texas has an incredibly large number of bats, and bats love mosquitoes. And when I lived in Texas, my house, I started getting that Texas twang. Sorry about that. My house, we had bat houses all around the outside of the house to encourage bats during the night to nest underneath there. So that way, when dusk came, the bats would come flying out of the little bat boxes, as opposed to living in your attic. Although I would even have them living in my attic if they didn't drop so much dung. But you have them in bat boxes. You put the bat houses around your place. They sleep in there at night, and then when they come out there, you see them just going all over the place, eating the crap out of mosquitoes and bugs. Good stuff. The natural way to do it. That's the natural order of things. Unfortunately, Texas has had a massive reduction of bats. And I haven't looked at the why. Is it chemicals? Is it the spraying? Is it, I believe when I lived in Austin, we have the bat cave. It's an amazing thing. If you've never seen it, they watch the populations. Cave stays at a certain temperature. And it's just, it's a very cool thing. Dallas has a lot of bats, and anyway, these bats come out in the area. And every once in a while, you'll get a report that due to the massive change in weather and the weather cycles, that you get a big kill off. And that's always a horrible thing, because again, bats eat mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are not our friends. Mosquitoes will get dengue fever. Hey, there's an Aussie for me. Hey, appreciate you. I have not set up any bots. I have not sent time to ban a bot. Silly best viewers. This next week, I'm dedicated to actually doing some serious stuff on here. At this point, I have not done crap. My goal was to get on here, get the show up and running, start doing the diabetic thing so I can track things. I lost 6 pounds. That was good. Cheated, bad. But I think I'm moving the right direction. Overall, I'm feeling pretty good right now. Want to get that information out. So this coming week, I'm actually going to figure out moderation, how to get things on here. I'm going to try to get a mod. Not that I have anybody really in here yet. But we are making some massive announcements next week for some things that we're doing. I think they're going to be very cool, very shocking, and everything else. And some collabs that it sounds like are coming into fruition for this show and some other things that we're doing that I think will finally start boosting the numbers. So hopefully we'll get that. I hope you did well in Australia on your Rayquaza. I haven't heard from anybody or seen anybody's posts yet where anybody got a hundo or shundo. But always pulling for you guys. So like I said, I'm going to keep this short because the next round of raids should be coming up pretty quick. One of the things I want to do, and I don't know if any of the people here or trainer club or someone helped, but when I went to bed last night, I had 20 followers. When I got up this morning and turned on the computer to do this, it says I have 52. If I have 52 by the end of today, this is my 7th stream. This will qualify me for affiliate. This will do it. I don't know if it has to be sustained, because you could have 100 people follow you and then everybody unfollow you. And I don't know if Twitch wants to make sure you maintain a certain number for a certain period of time. But as far as the triggers are concerned, 52 followers, and I've met all the other requirements. So I should be good for hitting affiliate, which means that at TwitchCon I will be going as an affiliate, but I have to get the official invite first. And I don't know if we've mentioned that yet. That's going to be part of the announcement. So we are going to TwitchCon, Trainer Club and I. We are doing several pre-done meets. We're talking to people about crossover broadcasting. So a lot of people like Trainer Club only does Pokemon. And while you can monetize on Pokemon, he does very well. For a lot of people, when if Pokemon were to die tomorrow, Valorant, all these games that go out there, people start streaming it, they get huge numbers, get very popular. And then when that game dies, their YouTube channel and their Twitch dies because they don't know another game. And it's not always easy to move an audience over. And so our company works on working with content creators on cross branding, cross marketing, working with product companies. And product companies don't want a one-hit wonder. They really want, you have to think of yourself as talent. You really don't want to associate yourself with an actor that only does one thing, unless that's your category. If you're a car company, if you're any sort of product company, you want someone that appeals to a big audience, a cross audience. And since streamers and YouTubers are now basically talent, it's time for people to understand that and start moving over. It took about half a year for me to work with Billy to convince him but working with him on this, and we talked about it, he's now launched 2 channels. His numbers are building up, but more importantly, he's starting to get he's getting offers, and we are going to these events and people are looking at him completely differently because he's now can talk in several genres or verticals, and that's what they want. And that's when the real money will hopefully start coming in and you can do things, but it also gives you a longevity to your streaming career. And so we're going to be going to TwitchCon. We'll be talking to people of that. We're going to be talking to people about collabs, but not necessarily collabing with people in your vertical, but people like if Billy's a Pokemon person, I have an interest in Pokemon, but that's not my main vertical. And so if our common denominator can be Pokemon, then we can each introduce our vertical to our different audiences and maybe get some cross proliferation. And only way I can, most of you guys probably don't do this, but the ways I can best describe this is fishing shows didn't used to be that popular. They're still probably not as popular as other shows. But one of the things they did to get on TV and get popular was a world-class fishing champion could be on there fishing it all day long. And if all they're doing is talking about fishing, there was very little interest unless you were a fisherman. Then they started inviting sports celebrities to go fishing with them during these tournaments. So all of a sudden you had football players, baseball players, everything else on the boats with them, and they could talk about sports. They could talk about other things other than fishing while on the boat. And guess what? The football fans who enjoyed Joe Montana, whatever the sports athlete was, I'm dating myself by saying Joe Montana, he would say, oh, I'm going to be on the Bubba Da Vinci fishing show, and I'll be fishing, while at the championship with Bubba Da Vinci. Now, he's not in the championship, but he's there on the boat with us fishing, and people will go over to watch, right? It's a great way to do things like that. We're looking to identify some people at TwitchCon that have interests that are similar enough and that are willing to do collabs for both either streams or YouTube channels that will allow that, cross-pollination. We like to also do it with people, already most people do it with people with other countries or other shows in their own vertical. But I don't know. I say vertical, but vertical. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So I'm super excited about hitting this number. As long as I just, in case they do make me wait until I hit 30 days, God, I hope not. Every day I stream, I have to make sure I hit a certain number. And so my viewer average doesn't go down. We did pretty well on the interview, which we have another one coming up this Thursday. That brought my average up. And then my daily averages kind of leveled it off, but it's still good, and it's good enough to get affiliates. So thank you guys very much. I have a feeling that a few people that streamed last night said, hey, join, follow him. He's pathetic. So whatever you can do, please do. And I'll take it. Okay. Last thing I'd like to cover for today, and actually I think I'm already at 30 minutes, so that's actually not bad. I'm going to be going on the road next week. So we have some pretty cool stuff. Trainer Club and I, part of it works for his outdoor channel. One of the products and things that our company is doing is we're working with, in conjunction with our partnership with a magazine called Outdoor by 4. We've been going to these things called Overland Expos. Now, if you've never heard of overlanding, I know anybody from Australia will understand what overlanding is. Actually, overlanding was basically created in Africa and Australia. In the US, we would call it off-roading or four-wheeling. But that would be a misnomer for the simple reason that overlanding is doing the off-roading for extended periods of time. You can do it for short periods of time, but these people go on the road for weeks, sometimes months, sometimes years. I guess if I were an Australian, I'd say it's almost like a walkabout on wheels, right? It's like it's the journey, and people put significant money, and I'm not talking about US significant. I'm talking about some of these overland vehicles run into the millions of dollars. Millions of dollars as a base model. And these are like basically like a figure an RV or a tour bus on steroids. Super reinforced suspension systems, massive tires that are specifically made to handle the weight and the ruggedness of everything. You know, several 100-gallon water tanks and fuel tanks, completely covered in solar, so they can be off grid for over a month or longer without ever having to touch civilization. Incredible vehicles. So we go to these expos, get to see these vehicles, get in the vehicles, check everything out. And it's everything from, I think we saw one that was $9 or $10 million, up here, all the way down to, you own a G-Wagon, you own a Jeep, you own a 4-wheel drive Subaru. The level goes, covers everything. And you get tens of thousands of people coming in with their vehicles, looking at ways to put extra gear and adapt them and everything. And they're badass. I mean, everything. So if you guys have ever seen or remember the Suzuki Samurais, there's an entire fleet of them that come to these events. Suzuki Samurais that have been completely converted to off-road. It's just coolest thing you've ever seen. Little things like, next to my Jeep, it looks like a clown car, like where 20 people climb out, like a little clown car. So, so we've been doing these things at the expos. Now, we've been working a little bit with Jeep. We're getting ready to work with another company, which I can't announce yet, but it's a bigger project. And as part of that, we go and we do product installs on some of our Jeeps. And I do say Jeeps because we do have more than one currently in our new fleet for these shows and things like that. And Billy and I are flying down to Florida to meet with a company called AccuAir. AccuAir does suspension systems, but they're known for their air suspension systems, which if you own a Lambo or a Ferrari or a Beamer and you have an air suspension system, that came with the vehicle, it was probably made by AccuAir, the parent company that owns AccuAir. Air suspension systems have been around for a long time. They have not been favored by the 4-wheel drive off-road or overland group because it's airbags that bring them up and down. So most people that are in the 4-wheel drive world want a solid suspension system, like an overcoil system, and things like that. And they'll put a 2, 3, 4 higher lift kit on it to raise the vehicle and then give a reinforced suspension. And, they reinforce the sway bars, change their gear ratios, do all that stuff. And so you haven't seen a air suspension system for the off-road world yet. AccuAir created the first one. It is now Mopar approved. And Mopar, well, and if you're in the car business or car world, you know who Mopar is, which is a very hard certification to get. And Jeep has certified it as a suspension system that if it's put on the car, doesn't void the warranty. It can actually be installed at the Jeep dealers here shortly because it will be a product that Jeep will install on your vehicle. And this air suspension system will allow you to drive your car like a stock Jeep, so you get better gas mileage and everything else at a 0. And you can take it up and air it up to a 4-inch lift, giving you the ability to off-road and get clearance from the inside of your car. Amazing thing. They took it to Moab this year and was able to beat Moab. And so it is Moab improved. And if anybody, no matter where you are in the world, if you're into off-roading, you've heard of Moab, Utah. It is one of the most grueling off-road courses that you can do. Very challenging. People come from around the world every year to do Moab and get the little thing on there that says they've done one of the routes. Very few. I don't know anybody personally who's done all of the routes, but it's kind of a bragging right. So they beat Moab. So we will be going to Florida this coming week to take my yellow Jeep and have the system put onto the Jeep. And then the Jeep is going to multiple places to have installs on. And then we will be doing filming, taking the Jeep across the country, doing a lot of these Jeep Badge of Honor trails that are rated all the way from 0 to, I think it's 10. You know, include things like, you know, that like up to Moab, with this system. And so we're super excited about that. So actually, so we this is kind of part of our story, which is we're both flying into Florida. We're going to film the install. Then we are taking the vehicle with that install and driving up to Tennessee for the Smoky Mountain Jeep event, which is this massive event there out in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And having some more equipment installed. And we're going to be stopping and filming along the way and posting that as content. And then after we drop off the Jeep there, we'll be jumping on a plane and going someplace else, which we will be announcing on Thursday, which this is part of the exciting part. And then with those announcements, then we will be going and flying and doing another activity. And then when that activity is back, we fly back, and Billy and a crew is going to be going to Colorado to go to an overland event. I will be in Tennessee doing the Jeep event. Then we finish those, and then we go to QuakeCon, and then, you know, who knows from there. But this is all multiple level content. We'll be shooting off-road content. You know, we'll be shooting overland content. We'll be shooting Pokemon content. We'll be shooting food content. We'll just be shooting. And that's going to be a busy 3.5 or 4 weeks. Then we have like almost like 3 weeks off, and then we go to Virginia, which is our last event for the year. And all this, I have to try to manage my diet and everything else, and I have to maintain this stream. So we're hoping the numbers on this stream will go up. Some of the things that we're going to be doing are pretty cool. We're going to be doing them some I believe, some pretty cool locales. You know, and so I think I had mentioned this on day one of this, where I've committed to wherever I am in the world, that I will be live at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, even if that means I've got to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning or broadcast at 3 in the afternoon from wherever I am. It just might be some IRL stuff. I do think that keeping yourself healthy and keeping everything under control also means you have to keep mentally healthy and positive and everything else. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to try to do. All right. Well, I actually don't have anything else for today, and I'm starting to get raids again. And I don't want to be doing the up and down. So I appreciate everybody following today. I appreciate the 52 followers. If you can keep pumping them up, the next goal is 100. I'd like to get way over 50 just to make sure if people start dropping off after they follow, I don't lose it. But bless everybody that helped me get to the 52. This stream, when I turn this off, is stream 7. So I believe I've officially triggered everything for affiliate. So thank you. Once again, if you want to follow me on any social media, super easy. X, Insta, only 2 that I'm on, at OG Bubba Da Vinci. If you want to jump onto the YouTube channel, not pretty. Don't expect much. It's just going to be these videos saved over there. Again, at OG Bubba Da Vinci. If you are on YouTube right now watching and you want to check out the Twitch stream, OG Bubba Da Vinci. The reason why I ended up putting that moniker on there was because I wanted to grab everything so it was always the same and it was super easy. So hopefully that helps you out. Have a great day. For the Pokemoners, go catch them all. Good luck. Shundo luck. Hundo luck. Take it easy. Bye. Hello.